What is Backblaze? How long has Makani been using Backblaze? What feature is Backblaze missing? What is software opportunity cost? Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick and this is Super Simple Security Principles. Listen each week and learn how to protect yourself online no matter your skill level. This is episode 36, Backblaze. It's kind of a cool name, actually. I'm going to give them credit for that. Shout out.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? This is episode 36, Backblaze Simple Whole Computer Backups. Wow. I'm intrigued. Here's a quick disclaimer. No financial incentive has been provided for us recommending Backblaze. So just a heads up, we're not getting paid in any way. This is something Makani uses and is recommending. And so, that said, let's introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself, our master guardian, Makani.
Thanks for that intro, Nick. I like that one. We can reuse that one. Yeah, that's good.
That's what you like, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I like that. We'll try to live up to it, but it makes me laugh, so that's always good.
Welcome in, bud.
Yeah, thank you. This one's, maybe not the most exciting of topics, but I am happy that we're to it. So, because, last week we were able to talk about the whys of backups and, so the awesome thing about this is starting this will be our first how on backups.
Nice.
And that's where people can take action. And, I think, it might actually be one of our shorter episodes too. So, like to mix it up there and have some things to say. But anyway, that's my introduction.
Well, great. Where should we start then? Should we start with what is Backblaze, or do we want to start with a little remembrance of last episodes?
We can talk about last week's if you want. Mostly was my sales pitch of why you might consider. Think about, if there's any data that you might want to, that you would care about losing, right? That's how I'd recap last. And
look, can I do a little plug to our episode?
Yeah.
Okay. I was intrigued with this simple whole computer backups. Do they really back up your whole computer?
Yeah. Yeah,
nice.
It does. It's not for phones, right? And that's something we want to cover. This is only for a laptop or a desktop computer. But yeah, that's one of the things that sets them apart is they up. I mean, they don't do like this operating system itself, but all your actual data that you would lose, and it is unlimited in that way, which, like I said, is quite unique.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, and so the way where I was going to start, so we'll jump back.
Sorry.
Quick.
Let's back up.
Oh, no.
Let's back up.
No, I just kind of the same way as last time is just a quick history with my use with backup tools.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I first started caring about backups over 20 years ago when I lost most of the photos of my first child's first year of life. And that's the story we talked about last week, right?
Yeah.
But ever since then, I've explored like a lot of different backup strategies. Yeah. But one of the pieces that has stayed the same, and this is the answer to one of our opening questions, is since 2014 is Backblaze.
Wow.
I use it on my main computer, my laptop, my wife's computer, and my kid's computer. So
that's 10 years of use. That's quite some time. That's a lot of track history.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need to pay me to give them a good recommendation.
Right. If you're
Although I
still
wouldn't mind if they did.
recommending something after 10 years, that speaks volumes, actually.
Yep, exactly. Well, and one of the reasons why, and they stand out, is, like I talked about last week, there's a huge variety of backup tools.
Right.
Um, and even though Backblaze is just one among many, they're a perfect example of a company that does one simple thing really well.
Nice.
Yeah. And, over the years, like that I've been with them, at least the 10 years, that core business has never changed. They've refined it and polished it a little bit, added some ways to use it more effectively. And actually, the really cool thing they've done is just provided a lot of blog post educational material to teach about backups in general. And so the way I'd kind of sum it up is they're active in all the right ways, but without getting distracted from their primary mission, which is easy to do. You've got it nailed down, and then instead of polishing it and really improving it and really leaning into it, sometimes companies get distracted. And let's add all these other new bells and whistles,
Right.
and anyway, I like it when they can make it profitable from that core. I've just found it to work really well. So
Yeah.
now, one of the things, and I can't remember how long they've had this. I think they had it from at least since the time I did, but it's a very critical feature for backups is encryption,
Yeah.
because they're storing it in the cloud for me. They have a copy of all the data on my laptop, and
Right.
that's a big risk, right? Like
Right.
that's
Right.
that's scary in some ways.
Oh, absolutely. That's a lot of information to be giving somebody to put in the cloud.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm paranoid enough that there may come a day when I even get rid of that. But um, but the thing is, they do offer full encryption,
Okay.
and I can't remember if they have an audit. That would be something I would love to see from them. But we did, yeah. Anyway, there's we did. It's been so long now, I can't even remember. I should have refreshed my memory for this. Why I feel confident in that encryption, right?
Right.
Because a company can say that it's encrypted, but can you trust it? Is it really,
Right.
really true? And I know we did some things and it's that's really kind of the theme of this. Is I set it up and it's worked well, and don't even really have to worry about it, even though I have called on it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, the encryption is very important, and it's having said all that, I'm definitely going to go back and dust off my memory um, about that, because I want to be sure that's that I meets my current level of expectations about the encryption guarantees, right?
Yeah.
Because I know it did 10 years ago, but anyway. Um, so the feature they don't offer, though,
Yeah.
is a more general purpose cloud drive, and the ones that people are most familiar with is like Google Drive or
Right.
Dropbox. Those are two of the biggest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these kind of cloud drives, they're often used as part of a backup strategy for people. Um, but they also let you like share and sync files between your devices and with other people.
Right.
And depending on your needs and preferences, the fact that Backblaze doesn't have that kind of cloud drive could be considered a drawback, right?
Right.
But so it was kind of a trick question at the start, because for myself, I see the cloud drive as an intentionally missing feature that I am like intentionally on the part of Backblaze, and I'm
Right.
grateful that it's absent, right? It's
Right.
not a feature
Because you
I'm
want them
wishing
to
they would
focus
add.
on what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. And I mean, I do a lot of file sharing and syncing, right? That's
Yeah.
important to me as well. I just use different tools than Backblaze for that. And the other aspect that not having this is what you were kind of surprised and impressed about before, is the unlimited aspect, right?
Right. Right. Yes, absolutely.
And part of the reason they can do that is because people can't, exploit unlimited storage with just backing up your computer the same way they could with a cloud drive.
Yeah.
Does that make right?
Right.
And so that's part of the reason I think why, that's their approach. That's their model, is we're going to do unlimited, but that means we also are not going to have this other thing, not only because it has all these features that can distract, but it would make it harder to have the unlimited approach.
Right.
So, and then the last piece of this that I really want to emphasize, and again, this is in contrast to a lot of other solutions that I've used, is the Blaze. I think part of Backblaze is because one of their priorities is speed. It's blazing fast or whatever, I
Oh,
guess is the
nice.
idea, right? That's the image, and it really does. Like there are backup solutions that both like can slow down your computer noticeably, or interrupt your workflow because you have to mess with it, take time and attention, whatever. Like they can be a
Right.
big hassle, right?
Right.
But Backblaze, it just works so efficiently, so well, that I forget it's there 99% of the time, 99.9%
Nice.
of the time, whatever. Yeah.
Nice.
So, and that's what I like, low maintenance cost for my backup solutions.
Right. Right.
So then the only other, well, okay, so what I want to do now, actually, since we have a little extra time in this one, it's short, is I want to kind of draw more general applicability for one thing here, and pause like the Backblaze specific discussion,
Yeah.
right, to call out an important principle that we can learn from Backblaze. And I'll call it opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Now I know you've done this, probably is familiar to you. It's one that's commonly used in the world of economics,
Right.
but it applies equally well to software. And the idea is that, well, I'll just put it in software terms, is, you know, companies and individuals alike, they both get caught up in the idea that more features is always better,
Right.
right? But it's not, because anything you put time and attention to, every feature, it takes time to implement it. It introduces possible bugs and security holes, increases ongoing maintenance costs. So it's, the opportunity cost. What is it costing you to do that? What are you having to eliminate? Because you can't do everything,
Right. You
right?
have to you have to make, yeah.
And for me in particular, not only does it take away and do all those things, but it takes away time that could be spent on areas that are often neglected because they're not as glamorous as features. Things like, you might guess, security.
Right. What do
And
people always try to cut
go
down
ahead.
on? I feel
Yeah.
like that's where Windows or Microsoft makes all their concessions.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and very closely related to security, but is bugs, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they just end up having a lot of bugs because they're too focused on the features, and so they get them out fast and they don't do them polished. And it's just like, no, let's actually take some time to write good code, produce quality software that's
Right.
robust, that's secure, and speedy. That's one
Right.
that really drives me personally crazy as a constant computer user and a software developer. Is, it's like, oh, computers are just getting faster. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean we need to waste all those resources, because computers still get slow these
Right.
days too easily. So anyway, the way I would sum this up is, when I'm looking at a a, a product or service, or even a company as a whole, really, like, to me, generally speaking, the shorter the feature list, the better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want them to have a narrow mission, a narrow purpose.
Right. Do one thing
And
and do it well. Be great at what you do.
yeah, exactly. And in the case of Backblaze, I've found that to be true. You know, the lack of cloud drive, like I talked about, is, you know, being a good thing.
Excellent.
So, okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, Nick,
Yeah.
is answering the question. I should have put this at the start maybe, but anyway, is how well does Backblaze work at restoring your data?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's speedy and smooth at saving your data into the cloud, but that doesn't do you much unless you can actually get it
Get it
back
back.
when you have a problem. And the good news is that I haven't needed to call on Backblaze too much, and not for a while. So, but I have used it enough, needed it enough that I'm confident it works well. I lost actually an entire hard drive one time.
Ooh.
Yeah, just, you know, mechanical failure. Didn't do anything wrong. Wasn't a surge like I had with my photos, anything like that. It just sometimes they fail. Thankfully, that's even less often these days with the new hardware with hard drives. But anyway, I was able to restore it through Backblaze.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and without like massive hassle. So, and I've actually restored a few individual files a couple times when they got deleted or lost, corrupted. It's been a little while, so I don't even remember all the details. But anyway, so that's the important part as well.
So that they do a good job of restoring what needs to be restored.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep. Uh, I think that's it. I know,
That's
not a lot to
it.
say. Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, I trust them.
Trust them
You
and they
know.
do a good job at what they do. Whole
Yep.
computer backups. I love it. That was a good episode. I like it. What's our call to action?
Well, you know, if it, you know, a lot of this is dependent on the previous episode, right? Is there data on your
Right.
laptop or desktop that you care about saving? Because
Right.
if there is, it's a great first layer. You know, there are other more complicated layers, but I found it to be the reason why I started with this one is because it's probably the simplest, um, you know, most comprehensive place to start. At least, again, you know, I want to emphasize this is laptops or desktops, and I know there are a lot of people these days that like everything is about their phone, and
Right.
so we will talk about that. But for me, at least, and a lot of people I know, a laptop or a desktop still is a big piece of their life, and so if that's you, Backblaze is a great place to start.
Excellent.
So
Okay. There you have it.
yeah. Oh, actually, I'll add one more note. Sorry, I know
Ooh.
I
I'll
just was coming
retract the
back to
high
me.
five.
Yeah, is pricing right now. One kind of interesting thing about Backblaze that's different is they will actually, so they offer a monthly rate and then they have a yearly rate, which is discounted, which is not uncommon, right?
Right.
But Backblaze actually has a 2-year rate that's even a little bit more discounted than just their 1-year rate. And I've almost never seen that. So I thought it was worth mentioning. And you could do the math and check for yourself, but you know, 2-year rate. And so just something to keep in mind.
There you go. So we're even letting you know about their discounts that they offer. They
Yep.
got discounts and they offer them. There you go. Look for them.
Yep. Okay. Now I'm ready for our high five, man.
Yeah, let's do it. That was a good episode. All right. Okay, that's our super simple show today. If you're not a member of the IHP Academy already, please come join us for free. Stop searching the whole internet for answers and never knowing who to trust. Ask us instead. We made it super simple to find us, and it only takes 2 minutes to sign up. just visit helpmegetsafe.com. Enter your name and your email. You're in. You can also find the link in our show notes. Thank you for joining us, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.